Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Eric with the Mind Melt podcast, and today we are just going to talk a little bit about a future show that we have coming up in Boise, where we're going to be playing some music, and we also talk a little bit about politics, and we talk about just the healthcare system and things that we can do to improve it. We also talk about some just, diet, wellness, the usual stuff that we enjoy talking about. But first, I am going to just do a little commercial. Like I said before, we're going to start doing commercials for Justin Wren's Fight for the Forgotten. So tune in, enjoy, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Take it easy. Bye.
Welcome to Mind Melt Podcast. This is Candra and Eric.
In modern day society, we're so lucky. We have the ability to literally drive our cars down to the grocery store and trade paper dollars for food of our choice. We can get home after a long day at work, jump in the shower, and then go to sleep in a nice warm bed without even thinking twice. We're completely safe. We have, safeguards in place, and we don't have to worry whatsoever. We can drink water in the morning as we wake up so that we remain hydrated throughout the day, and this is often taken for granted. Things have been like this for us for quite some time, but it hasn't always been like that for us. Most of our history was spent foraging for food, searching for clean water, and fighting for survival. But unfortunately, it's not safe for everybody. We oftentimes forget that there's people suffering all over in the world. In a lot of countries, people's lives remain a constant struggle for survival. They're always just trying to think of the next meal or the next way to get water or the next fight that's going to be upon them. In the Congo, for example, less than 10% of people have access to power. 45,000 people are killed per month, and 50% of them are children, under the age of 5. Most people in the Congo live on less than $1 per day, and 70% don't have access to clean water. This is a tragedy. And if you're like me, you've wondered for a long time what you can do to make a difference. Well, it's really hard to make a difference from afar, but we are very fortunate to have people like Justin Wren who have organizations out there that don't just take the money that's donated, but they use it efficiently and effectively to bring clean water to people that don't have access to it. Justin Wren was an MMA fighter who went to the Congo and fell in love with the pygmy and decided that he was going to make it his life mission to bring as many clean drinking wells to the Congo, and has done so in great strides. And he has amazing backing behind him. And I really admire this man. And I think that what he's doing is so great. And he, alongside workers, are able to bring manpower and tools to the Congo and bring clean water to places that even big NGOs are not able to do. So please go to fightfortheforgotten.org and read the mission statement. If you agree with what he's doing and agree with what he's saying, then just try to find it in your heart to donate a small monthly donation. It can be $5. You don't need to do anything big. You don't have to do $100 once. If you just do $5 or $20 a month, something small that's feasible for you, that's going to make a huge difference. I'm not endorsed by this organization. They're not paying me to do this. I really want to help as much as I can, and I hope that you can as well. So once again, that's fightfortheforgotten.org. And you can also go to water4.org. And that's WATER and then the number 4.org, and donate to get clean waters to the pygmy in the Congo. But I think, just so you guys know, I think that he's also extending that to areas outside of the Congo now because this organization has gotten so big. So if you can't afford to donate, at least just spread the word, share it on social media, let people know what's going on over there. And knowledge is power. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy the show. Yo, what up, everybody? This is Eric with the Mind Melt Podcast, and today is August 25th. It's been a pretty good time since we've recorded a podcast. I mean, well, we recorded one last week.
You did.
I did by myself, but we also recorded one together. We just weren't really happy about it.
Oh, yeah.
So, we didn't release it just because it was we tried to do it with video, and my mic didn't work right with the video, and there was just
too many issues.
Yeah, we're new to the video game. Okay, so I'm hoping that will be something that we can do in the future, and for now we're gonna stick to audio just until we get it nailed down. It's just also we live in a fifth wheel, and it's kind of awkward in here. I mean, it's like an awkward space to record, and
I would like to get it up and running before we get our studio in our house set up, but if not, then once we get that set up, for sure we will have video.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's kind of the exciting thing. It's not like we have a huge following with this, but I'm really stoked about doing the podcast. It makes me feel so happy that we can that we discuss things, and it makes me think a lot more about things, and it also makes me think about what I do with my time, and how I'm treating people, and just it's kind of weird. I mean, it makes me feel like I need to always be my best person, because
be honest.
Yeah, it's so. Anyways, I'm really stoked about, when we build the house, we're going to be literally building it with a studio in mind. One of the rooms is going to be a dedicated studio for the podcast, and then obviously for music as well.
Yeah, it makes me feel less guilty about not going back to school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I mean...
It's stupid, right?
That kinda. Yeah, because for me, it makes me want to keep doing school. I just started taking that class. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because I'm doing this. I'm learning so much, and I don't want to go back to NIC. I just don't. Yeah. There's so many reasons why.
No, I understand.
So
it's expensive.
I feel like
college degrees are just a waste of money.
Yeah,
maybe not a waste of money. It depends on what.
It totally depends on what you're doing. For me, what I was doing, it's a waste.
Yeah.
My situation is just special in that sense. I'm definitely not hating on people who, spend money on school, on their career or their passion or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely filling that hole of needing to learn.
Yeah. Well, I just started doing a new class, and I'm really stoked about it. But the coolest thing right now about the internet and learning is that the class that I'm taking is through the Great Courses, and it cost me $12, and it's a Robert Sapolsky class, which is he's a fucking instructor at Berkeley, I think.
Yeah.
And so that, for me to take a class through Berkeley, first of all, I'd have to live there. And then, it just
and
really,
if you wanted credits, you'd have to pay whatever amount.
Yeah, but fuck, I mean, I don't care. I'm basically getting the best education that you can when I do these great courses, because I've done great courses on physics, and I've done great courses on biology and all this stuff, and I'm learning about things from the absolute best, academic professors that there are in the world, and learning about it for nothing. I mean, it's like $12.
It's really amazing that we can do that. I think that's pretty special.
Yeah, it's so cool. I think that it's really important. And so just, if anybody listening to this is wanting to do something like that, there's Coursera, which is free, and they offer so much stuff. And it's integrated, and you actually can talk to your professors, and you have to do homework assignments, which is kind of cool if you're into learning. And they're totally responsive with you. I just think that's so cool. And then if you're not really into that because it's a little bit too much, then you can actually get the great courses through Audible, which is the one that I'm doing right now is through Audible. So It's extremely in depth, and it's like a normal class.
You have tests and stuff?
Not through Audible. He just
lectures,
and so that one I can listen to at work, and I've already done this one with him like 3 times. But
really?
I just love Robert Sapolsky so much, and I love learning about biology, but mostly I love learning about like the nature of our behavior, which is what he specializes in, is behavioral biology. So it's really interesting, and since I've done this class, which is, for anybody listening, it's behavior biology through Robert Sapolsky. But since I started doing this, it has changed my life. It changes the way I look at people, it changes the way that I respond to people, and makes me like not get as angry with people. Like, I realize that it's just whatever they're dealt with, and that's just kind of,
we all have our own stuff going on.
Even with child molesters or something like that, like, even though I'm not an advocate for like they should not live amongst us and stuff like that, they need to be put in cages or something like that.
You're not taking the stance on that TED Talk.
Fuck no. But I mean, I do understand where she's coming from.
Oh no, she has no one was like angry that she had valid points. It was like she would how she said it just upset people. Like, we need to accept them, and we do need to accept them.
We do need to accept them, because
she was saying more along the lines of, in society, accept them into society.
See, that's bullshit. I mean, that's and this is the unfortunate thing. This is like the unfortunate luck of the draw, is there are people out there that do want to fuck kids, and that is like innate in their brain, and there's nothing that you can do to fix it that we know of yet. So in my opinion, those people need to be put in cages, and they need to be, furthest
away from kids
that possibly, because that's just damaging children, and studied. And then, like, I don't know if they're repeat offenders, like that fucking guy with the Shasta Groni kids up here that ended up, raping and molesting those kids and then killing them, or killing one of them. I mean, that dude needs to be killed, and I think he was, but or maybe he's still, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But people like that need to be killed. I'm totally pro-death on that stuff, and I know that is a very touchy subject for a lot of people, but I mean, there's nothing, as of right now, there's nothing that we can do with science, and it's just a huge deficit on our country, in my opinion.
But better safe than sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, I look at other countries like Canada. Canada they have crazy laws, like, because they're not into the death penalty at all. So they like, you can kill someone over there and then get it reduced to a manslaughter charge and be out in a couple of years.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah. And so, anyways, I just I think that if you want to learn about the nature of behavior and what causes people to tick, it's really, really interesting. And I've this guy, he's written a lot of good books. Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. I don't know. I've read them all, though. And they're all good. So,
he's awesome.
Yeah, he's really, really hard to understand, which is why I've taken it so many times. But I wanted to start talking about just like why we didn't record last week, and I recorded my ranting episode. And it just had to do with, like I really I got so wrapped up into the Congo stuff. It just totally messed with me, like my mental state, I guess,
Yeah, you were a cloud.
I was.
To be around. I mean that in the sweetest of ways, but.
Yeah, I know, it was crazy. I just
overtook you.
Yeah, it really did. It was for like 3 days. Like, every time I would see someone in public or talk to someone that I know or just anything like that, it literally just made me start getting frustrated, because I was just like, it'd be like past the salt, and I'd be like, salt isn't important. There's people dying from dehydration.
It was a little extreme.
Yeah.
You were depressed.
I was. Yeah, I was super depressed.
And depressing to be around.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, honey.
No, I
wasn't trying to be depressing
sorry.
to be around.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's understandable. Like, you just are really passionate about the Congo.
Yeah, I know. Well, and it's not, it's not good, though, to try to take on a huge problem like that, to the point where it's like totally
it's affecting your happiness.
Yeah. And to a certain point, I think it's important. I think it's important to get those little like brief moments of unhappiness maybe, but just because
there's a certain point where it doesn't do anyone good though.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And nobody wants to hear the fucking guy that's just like running around yelling about, how everything is fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to just throw that out there. I hope that listeners, if you checked out, that episode, the most recent one, you understand. I just really wanted to get that out. And so I appreciate the patience. So, but more exciting news in our life. Candra and I are going to be playing a show in Boise, Idaho. So for those of you that don't know us, we produce music and have done that for quite some time now. But for the last couple of years, we really took some time off. I mean, we played a few shows last year, but we've
been really just focusing on trying to get healthy and get some stability under us.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about why we stepped off, I mean, we could probably refer to our other podcast.
Yeah.
We talked about Eric's drug addiction and how that kind of took a toll, and how we really put music on the back burner for a little bit.
Yeah, we really did. And it was important at the time that we did. It was like, for one,
it was needed.
Nobody wants to be halfway in, halfway out.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants music that's halfway in, halfway out. And that's what it was. I didn't feel like I felt so before, like when Candra and I started writing music and releasing music, we lived in Boise and we had a huge support group behind us. And that was awesome. Like, we played tons of shows, and then we started recording our EPs, and we released, a few EPs, and we always had them professionally mastered. I spent a shitload of time. I mean, at least 4 hours a day, every single day writing music. And
you were definitely stuck on the laptop.
Yeah, maybe even more than that. I mean, it was crazy. And so it was, but I loved it, and I still do. But taking that time off of music recently, it was like, for one, obviously it was moving up here. What we talked about in the last episode with the meth thing, and just, I was addicted to drugs and needed a break from the music scene, and I felt like I needed to detach from that because that was a huge driving factor behind me using. And it wasn't the music or the people or anything like that. It was just, I think part of it was that I wasn't happy with where I was at with music because I hadn't been putting all of my effort into it. And so I was like kind of using this as a crutch, and I kept on telling myself that it was going to inspire me musically, which it obviously never did. But also, before that, when we had moved to California, I just, I kind of feel like I burnt a lot of bridges in a way. Like, not that, I mean, I'm sure that, our friends might disagree with this. I don't know how most people feel because I've never really asked, but I just feel like with music, I got this like weird, from throwing shows and being so involved in the scene and all that stuff, I just kind of got this weird ego, know? And
you got maybe comfortable, and
that's not, I don't think that's what it was. I think that it was more like, I was just thought that I was doing a lot better with it than I was, probably. Like,
that'd be being comfortable, I think. Like, instead of being humble and like focusing on like your artistry.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean,
like you were like you kind of stopped trying so hard.
Definitely. I mean, I just thought that I could kind of coast a little bit. I had a lot of good connections.
Exactly.
And then I was like overbooking us and taking on way too many shows, and that is just a terrible thing to do. I mean, like, for upcoming artists, like if you guys are taking too many shows, it will take away from your craft. And for one, and for two, it's just going to put you out there so much that people don't care to see you.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have a balance. It's important to, put yourself out there enough that people know who you are, but let yourself breathe enough so that people are excited to see you, and you have that room to breathe.
I kind of learned that one quote, like, faster you rise, the faster you fall, or something like
that. Yeah. So
that was a huge life lesson, because I mean, it's just so much better to be sustainable and to slowly work towards your goals without overdoing it and burning yourself out. Like, it's just so much better. And
also realizing it's just music. It's not like you're fucking operating on brains, or, you know, it's just nobody's gonna die if you don't get paid a certain amount of money per show. Nobody's gonna, you know what I mean?
That's what I was trying to tell you.
I know. And I was just, you know, I was trying to, basically what I was trying to do was make a career out of it too soon. You know?
Right.
And that's like, it's cool if you want to have the dreams of like becoming a professional musician and make a living doing it. That's awesome. And I think that if that is your goals, you should do it. I don't think that anybody should hold themselves back.
Definitely not.
Like, you should just do it, because the worst that can happen is you're going to end up where you're at right now. And that's not that bad. You know, it's not going to put you into a worse state of being. And so, that being said,
unless you start smoking meth.
Well, that's what I mean. What I was going to say. Well, what I was going to say is, that being said, there's a right way and a wrong way to pursue your dreams. And the wrong way is to bombard the scene, basically not work for it. You know, like that was the thing, is I was early on really using the clout of being a promoter to get bookings. And that was so fake. I mean, you know, like...
Well, yeah, we were spending so much time on just throwing shows. We stopped working on music.
Yeah,
like,
I worked on music a shitload. Yeah, still at that point. I think that we still did. But I think it was the partying that started taking away from it.
Not near as much, though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe towards the end. I mean, I definitely... Because, dude, like, during that time... that's when I wrote the Eastern Swag EP. Like, I was like,
before we moved.
Yeah. Like when we were throwing shows, like I was writing music just as much then as as ever before.
All right.
What?
I just don't think you were.
Okay.
Dude, you didn't sleep for a week because you had like shows to. Like, you were there. You were at the club every single night doing shit.
Yeah. Towards the end, I guess that's probably true. I did slow down a lot.
You were just like. Like, just overworking yourself on promoting.
Around that time, and the Moog like really pushed me into it harder. You know, so I don't know. I don't necessarily think that it's like, yes, it did take away from the art. I'm not saying it didn't, but doing, you know, a lot of anything will take away from your art. And it's like, I still needed a job. And that was my job, you know, and I don't think it was taking away from music more than any other job would. You know what I mean? The only thing is it benefited us because we were able to immerse ourselves with more artists and stuff like that, which was good. But I think that a big part of the problem was that we were using that clout with booking to get bigger shows, and we weren't. It was fake. I mean, we weren't at the point of playing headlining slots. We learned that the hard way in Sacramento. I mean, we weren't, you know, like, we just weren't there yet. And
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. So I think that, like, slow and steady really wins the race with any art form. I mean, you want to put yourself around people, but you want to be humbled, and you want to be willing to learn, and you want to be able to collaborate. Like, that was another thing I never did. And I never did that for, like, because I was too egotistical. I mean, that's really what it was. And it was like, really, it's really funny looking back at how I took that on, because now I would do it the total opposite way. You know, like, I don't see myself as the kind of person, like, I mean, this podcast is a prime example of that. Like, I'm not just trying to, like, push myself into the world. I'm just trying to put something out slowly, and then if people grab onto it, they grab onto it.
And be genuine in the process.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and with the music thing, it was like I was always trying to just make connections, and, you know, it was just fake.
Yeah.
But through that, I mean, through being that, like, go-getter with talking to other artists and, you know, making moves, I met a lot of great people. And that's one benefit of it. Like, I met so many artists and so many booking agents that I really love. And shout out to, like, Adam with Street Ritual, and, like, you know, just like McCall, like, just artists that I really, like,
connect with still.
Benji, Benji was like one of the first ones because I loved Wormhole, and like if you live in the Oakland area, Wormhole Music is, it's located in Oakland. Every Wednesday night they do a weekly, and it's just a great group of people, and like, but I wasn't like, I should have just been willing to slow down.
Yeah.
And I was.
Your energy was definitely very chaotic.
Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah.
All over the place.
And I think that with writing music, it was always about trying to get things out quickly and always, it's good to always put your music out. I think that it challenges you to write more proficiently and things like that. But at the same time, it's not everything. Like it's just, some of the best artists that I like release music so slow, but when they release music, it is fucking gold. Like Mamukshu.
Yeah.
Like that dude releases like 4 tracks a year or something, But
yeah, or even, like a great example would be like Tipper.
Tipper actually releases a pretty fair amount of music though.
Does he?
Oh yeah. He's put out a lot more music than a lot of people have. He puts out a shitload of music. It's just always good because he's a fucking alien.
Yeah, well, he doesn't play out that much. So
yes, that is true. Yeah, that's true. He's very selective about his bookings.
Yeah, which I think kind of, it aids him.
Oh
completely.
Yeah, totally. And he lives in an area where he's away from, I think, because he lives in Hawaii. So he lives in an area that like is seclusive, which is one of the things I like about living out here. Is
Me too.
That it's like we live out in nature and we don't live around people that we know, so it's kind of, in a way, like it sucks sometimes, but in a way it's beneficial because I think that it's really easy to focus on our own things. Like if we were still living in Boise, I just don't even want to know where I would be right now. I just think that it would be so, like, that was the problem with living there, was that I was around so many people that I knew that I wasn't really taking care of myself. I was always taking care of everybody else.
Yeah, and it was hard to focus on yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by taking care of other people, I don't mean like helping them. I just mean like not setting boundaries, and if somebody needed something, not that I'm there to help them, but it's like if somebody wanted to talk to me or be with me or hang out with me or something, I was just always like doing that.
You were down. No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. It was
even
like I was always surrounded by people. Yeah, I was always working. I was always doing things, and it's just not healthy to be like that, So, big learning experience with all that stuff. But so we took quite a bit of time off of music. We've been working on music like throughout the last couple of years, but not, anything like we used to.
Yeah, just slow.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I recently deleted every fucking music project off my laptop, which
on accident.
Yeah, it's total stupidity, and I can't figure out how to get it back, which sucks because I had a bunch of music on there that I hadn't released yet.
That you were about to release.
Yeah, like there was some ambient music that I loved,
I forgot about
dude.
That.
Yeah, those tracks are so dope, and
it's kind of like a clean slate, though. I appreciated that, like, blank slate.
I know. I just remember like trying afterwards, just being like, "Fuck, oh shit,
well,
and it's all gone." Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know.
It's kind of perfect timing.
Yeah.
Because now we're starting. We're gonna write an EP.
Yeah. Before the end of the year,
before the end of the year. That's. We're not putting a date on it, but we're just working.
That's just what the goal is. But like in the past, I've set dates and then either not come through on the dates because they weren't as good, or I've released shitty music because of it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
There's no need to put a date on it, promote it. Well, who cares?
Yeah.
Let's just release some shit when we release it.
When we release it, we'll let you know.
It's gonna be there.
Yeah, it'll be there. We'll let you know. There will be the podcast.
I don't think hyping it is gonna matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny how different I feel about it now than I used to.
Yeah, I know. It used to really upset me because you're so business orientated.
Yeah.
You're like, no, we have to charge this much. We have to do it this way. We need this time slot.
Yeah.
And like, I really looked up to you for that, but at the same time, like, I think it was too far. I think you kind of have to be in the middle.
Yeah,
and dude, I was too over on the other side.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I'll do it for free. It's all about love.
Yeah. And I don't, like with this, so now that we're going to start writing more music and releasing music again and start being more involved in the music scene, like I don't necessarily want to just take every show.
No.
I'm still going to be selective about shows that we take. I still want to, charge and do all that stuff. It's not like, like it's not going to be the same as it used to be. It's not going to be where charging is more important than playing. It's not going to, I really want to. So like with the last podcast that I recorded by myself, we were talking about Justin Wren's Fight for the Forgotten. I was thinking like in a year or something, once we have enough music that I feel comfortable with, like with touring or something, it'd be really cool to do like a 5-city tour where we do all profits go to Justin Wren's Fight for the Forgotten.
I would love that.
It'd be so cool.
It'd be so fun.
It would be so rad to do that with a fucking cause. Like,
knowing it's going to something that we actually care about supporting.
Yeah. And if there's any promoters that know us and want to do a show like that would, if you're interested in doing that, like a benefit thing, like we will play for free. So, if there's, one of our friends listening to this that's a promoter and you guys are interested in doing a benefit show for Justin Wren's Fight for the Forgotten, we'll play for free. Just let me know and we'll come out there and do it, because it's something that I'm obviously really passionate about. And that comes to me, I'm just trying so hard to figure out ways where I can get money into that program without like draining myself. Not that, like I don't want to commit my own money to it as well. I do. But I just can't, like, I can't do.
You can get more people involved, though.
I can't do as much as I want to do. I want to do like 20,000 a month, and I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do more than that. I want to do 100,000 a month. I want, you know what I mean? Like, I want enough money going to this organization that they can fucking get clean water to everybody within a reasonable amount of time. So, and the only way to do that is to figure out ways to do it, And so, with that being said, with the music, I think that'll be yet another good way where we can promote something good. So, yeah.
I'm really excited for the show on the November 3rd, though.
Yeah,
White
it's cool.
Bear, Bog Trotter, and Indigenous, which is
so
my
much
best
hippie
friend's
music.
Boy.
Yeah.
So I get to see my best friend, Hannah. Woo.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Couldn't be more perfect.
The last show in Boise was so much fun. It
was so much fun.
Show.
I love going back to Boise.
Yeah, I do too. I get to see everybody.
It's just the best. The vibes are always so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and while we're there, I want to, I really want to obviously see family and friends or whatever, but I really want to go hiking.
Me too.
And I want to just go do something that we would do if we lived there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we still lived there, we might go out and play a show, but we also might go hiking and go to a couple like
yoga class.
Yeah,
whatever.
Something cool like that.
Yeah.
Just
same.
Go to the co-op.
Yep, that's for sure. Probably every day.
And Whole Foods. I want to go to Whole Foods. I haven't been to Whole Foods in so fucking long. I know it's kind of funny.
We're deprived in Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, we have good stuff here. Like Pilgrim's is a great store.
Yeah, Pilgrim's is a great store, but it's also the only it's the only one in Coeur d'Alene.
Is it?
Yeah. What else we got? Natural Grocers?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like a local, like, cultured.
Well, the co-op isn't really either, is it? I mean,
yeah.
Whole Foods definitely isn't.
No, and definitely not.
Neither is Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
So if the Boise co-op is the only one, that's the only one, right?
I guess technically now, because there's the Meridian co-op there, so technically.
Well, and co-op is a network.
Yeah.
So it's like a network of local organic stores.
But I used to work there. That's just like my home.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it is reminiscing too. Like I don't know, just going to Whole Foods and getting a juice.
Going to
like,
I remember going to the co-op one time at like 7 a.m. on acid. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we got an apple.
That's all we got was like an apple. That was so funny.
It was the best apple ever.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I always used to think that eating on acid was a bad idea unless you eat like really good like fruit or vegetables. It's actually quite pleasant.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I know. I wonder because I was
as long
always
as it's healthy. If it's not healthy, it's disgusting and you want to puke.
I was always vegan when we did psychedelics. I'm curious as to like what it would be like to eat a steak
on psychedelics.
See, I think that's too heavy.
Yeah.
Well, for me, even like with mushrooms,
for me, it was always
example.
like a mental thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
there's that too.
Yeah, it was always like, I'm eating an animal. It always felt weird.
Yeah.
You know? Or, I mean, I never did it, so I can't really say that for sure. But the idea of eating meat on psychedelics always made me super weird. Like, thinking about the fact that people even do that made it super weird. So
it's a weird thing.
It is a weird thing.
Especially on psychedelics when you're just overanalyzing everything we do. Yeah. And everything's so heightened. Like, I don't know.
One of the first times that I ever, like, as a vegan, thought about eating meat again, though, was on psychedelics, which is kind of funny after saying what I just said. But it was when we were at Beloved over in Oregon.
And you never told me that.
I know. I don't think I did. I think it was because I was so, like, brainwashed at the time to think it was bad.
As a vegan... You don't want to tell other vegans that you're thinking about eating meat,
which
is silly. Because
silly.
I mean, same with me, dude. I held that shit in for like years.
Yeah, so it was like I was at Beloved, and I was going to the bathroom, like I was going number 2, and I just remember. I mean, first of all, Beloved, shout out. Your guys' porta potties are the best.
Best porta potties.
Best porta potties in the world.
They smell great.
They're so clean. Sage in them, and like they're really
assorted herbs in bouquets.
But I just remember, like, I'm sitting in there, and I was going number 2, and I could like I was on acid, and it was really heavy, like the dose, you know. And I just remember, like, thinking about how I was just shitting food that I ate.
That you ate.
And this, like, cycle.
It's
and
weird.
Then I was thinking about how shit kind of, like, fertilizes the earth. And then I was thinking about how, like, you know, cow shit fertilizes, you know, plants. And then we eat the plants. And then we shit the plant.
Shit our pants.
Don't shit the pants. Just shit the plants. And then I was thinking about how, you know, like, cows eat the grass and then people eat the cows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then I was thinking about how then that turns into excrement, and, you know, and so I'm thinking about all this stuff.
You're
and I'm
thinking
just like,
about the cycle of life.
Just damn, it is beautiful and like so sustaining. And I was thinking about eating meat, and I was just thinking about how beautiful it is that we are alive and able to consume each other,
and we're all like a part of each other in that way.
I know, even like the microbiome, like the little organisms in the belly, like it's
your
so
gut,
cool that we
intestines.
are the reason that they're living, or whatever they are kind of living, like they're a being in their own weird way. I'm sure they're not talking about Tetris or anything like that,
or even vice versa though. Like,
totally, totally.
know?
That they're allowing us to live and break down food and absorb minerals and shit. Yeah.
Because I mean, when you think about it,
dude.
that actually kind of came first.
What, single-celled organisms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, totally. It's all fucking crazy, though.
It's so cool.
And what's even crazier, and I said this on the podcast before, but what's really crazy is that we have yet to find a single living thing anywhere else. You know, it's just crazy to me. Like, the fact that we look out and see other planets and don't see a leaf anywhere, you know? We don't see a fucking leaf anywhere.
I mean, like, the universe is so fucking huge.
Oh, yeah, no shit. I mean, we haven't
would.
seen that many planets.
I just don't think we would see it.
What do you mean?
Like, there's so much out there. It's so far apart. Like,
I think eventually we will. Statistically, like, if we look at enough shit, there's bound to be something somewhere, right?
No, I think there is something
somewhere.
somewhere.
I know you do.
100%.
Yeah, I know.
I just don't think that we have seen it yet.
Oh, yeah, of course. And that's what I mean.
I think when people say that, oh, there's nothing out there, I think they're just looking up and not seeing anything type of deal.
Yeah, I think, but we have looked at a shitload of planets, though.
Yeah, but we've also only been alive for a certain amount of time. Like, how long has the universe existed?
Yeah, and that light travels to us so fucking slow in comparison to how far away it is. I know, I think it'd be funny.
We're looking back in time.
Yeah,
like,
we're
what's
looking
going
back
on
in
right
time.
now?
And if something is, you know, like, I don't know, 4 billion light years away, then that's, you know, I don't know. The universe is really old, so I guess it's not like 4 billion.
I mean, timing would have to be so perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but a tree? I mean, there's, trees that have existed for thousands of years, and plants, like, even though, like, maybe we wouldn't see a sustained colonization of a planet, but to just see, like, a tree somewhere, that doesn't seem like that far-fetched to me.
No.
Like, I think that it'd be fucking just so cool. Just like one day we just find a planet and there's just a bunch of vegetation.
Yeah, like trees we've never seen before, of course.
And what if they were eating the people?
That'd be awesome.
And then there's trees that were
like
Treegans.
Our alter universe.
Yeah, there's Treegans out there that are like, don't eat the humans. Like,
Oh my gosh.
That would be possible. Hilarious. Or what if the Treegans were against eating plant life and they were trying to convert everybody to only eating human life? That would be crazy. But I don't know. That's a mind fuck. I remember when I was a kid, when I was like 4 years old, and I would just lay in bed at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And I'm serious about this. I was literally like 4 or 5 years old, but I would just lay in bed and I would just think about how the universe was infinitely large, And
you just were mind fuck yourself over and over again.
And I would start crying.
Yeah,
because I couldn't understand it. It was it was driving me so mad just knowing that like stuff. Like, well, I think that I have a better understanding of the universe now.
But some like if I smoke too much weed and I start thinking about that shit, I get like not start crying, but it just overtakes me. Like I just feel so like nothing.
Yeah, that's a good way to feel.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah, I
mean, the perspective you get from feeling like that is worth it. It's just not a very comfortable feeling.
Yeah, that's true. So. I mean, it's even more uncomfortable when you think about how we're on like a death ball. I mean, because no matter, I mean, like seriously, like no matter what, like when you think about it, the Earth really, we've been alive for a sliver of time, but the Earth for one isn't protected from all the fucking missiles that are flying around in the universe. Like there's asteroids that are flying around just waiting to hit shit.
I know, it's weird.
And it's not like our atmosphere is a fucking electromagnetic shield, but it's like
in most of our minds, yeah.
Yeah. And then
people do think that.
I know they do. And then like thinking about how we think that this is safe because we think on such a small scale.
Yeah, like we're safe, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, and
until it does.
And like tomorrow the Yellowstone supervolcano could blow up and kill everything, and we would just be no longer here. Like,
and we wouldn't even know it.
We wouldn't even know it, and it's crazy, and it's happened before. Like it's happened before on this planet. Like it is so interesting,
and it will happen again for sure.
Oh,
without
absolutely.
a doubt.
We already know it's. I mean, like the Yellowstone supervolcano. That's just literally a ticking time bomb. I mean, there will be some point, sometime relatively soon, relative to the amount of time that we've existed as humans. Relatively soon, that shit's gonna go.
I wonder if it's gonna happen in our lifetime.
I'm sure everybody wonders that in their lifetime. Like everybody wonders what's gonna end it all for humanity, but
that would be like
the coolest way to go.
Kinda. I mean, if we're gonna die anyways.
No, I know. I said that too.
Is that really awful?
That's what I think I said that to Tom, the guy that I used to work with one time. I was like, imagine how cool it would be though if we were just standing out, looking out, all of a sudden this fucking plume of ash comes and we're just like, holy shit, it happened.
Yeah, like it finally happened. Like you turned to me, like told you, and then boom.
Yeah. Well, we would die quickly, but not. We'd be able to have a little bit more of an extended conversation about how I told you that shit was going to happen
Upload
soon.
one more podcast.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine being on the ISS?
Damn.
Dude, like
that'd be
looking
so cool.
Like what if you were on the ISS
sad.
And you were looking at the Yellowstone supervolcano when it exploded, and then you just like all of a sudden like you lose contact with Earth.
And you're just watching it all.
Yeah, you lose contact with Earth, and you see the fucking volcanic ash coming around the Earth, and you it's only a matter of time before they get a nuclear winter, but you can't even see the Earth anymore because it's so covered with ash.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting up there fucked. I mean,
yeah.
But are you more or less fucked than everybody else?
I would almost say more.
Well, yeah, because you run out of water eventually.
Yeah, but I mean, it would just be like a slower, more awful way to go. But it would, I mean,
you'd be way lonely.
You'd be so lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd almost rather want to be on Earth.
Yeah, but dying from ash inhalation?
Yeah, that would suck too.
Ugh. Yeah, that sounds horrible. Or dying from, because at that point, if the Earth really did go into a nuclear winter, I mean, it would turn into just chaos with people. They would be raping and fucking murdering each other. Because that's so you would see the worst of humans because we are really bad people at the core.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't mean that everybody's bad, but as soon as it's becoming survival, people turn into fucking animals.
Yeah.
And
I feel like there would be something to being up there though, and being all by yourself and watching it.
You better get real familiar with meditating.
I just would. It would be such a crazy experience to be the only to be the last human alive that you know of on that planet.
I would have a feeling you would not be the last human to be alive.
No,
I'm pretty sure you would die first.
Oh, up there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because you run out of water and food.
So you think people down here under the they'd live longer, even though with
a couple years.
Oh,
it wouldn't go because it would go into a forced ice age, and there'd be the rich Bilderberg folks that would probably have underground things
with food in it and water,
and dehydrated food, and
yeah,
I'm sure that, and there'd probably be people that could even withstand it. They could make some sort of colonization underground and. Or even above ground, with a dome or something. I don't know. Fuck, I'm just spitballing.
I really liked that series, the 100.
Yeah, that show is awesome.
It's so cool. It was a little cheesy, but I love the concept that I didn't even care.
That concept is very similar to this. So it's basically everybody thinks that we're dead forever, and then you realize that people are more, we can withstand more than you think.
Yeah, there's humans that have adapted and they're crazy tough now.
Yeah, but
they're adapted to radiation in some areas. Super good point.
And the same thing has happened because we've lived through ice ages.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't understand how. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I want to kind of experience it in a really dark way.
Yeah,
just because it would be. I don't know, sometimes I just I'm driving to work and I go to work and I get my coffee and I come home and I eat and I go to bed and I'm like, damn, dude. And I'm watching the 300 maybe. And I'm like, I just kind of want to feel that rush of running for my life and fighting for my life.
Yeah,
and
I think that's in everybody, man.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Cause I am hero and I want to do that for a day or two.
I think that's part of the reason why there's always all these theories about the end of the world coming and the new world order and conspiracy theories and they're trying to do this to us because people are trying to create that sense of threat on their life.
They need to fight for their life.
Yeah, they want to feel that, so they come up with these fucking things these elite group of people are trying to kill us all and we need to fight back, and it's creating a war in a sense. And I remember when we were
it's a very energetic war you have with yourself.
Yeah, it is.
That you want.
And people like Alex Jones, whether or not he really believes any of the shit that he says, but just that whole concept of fighting the NWO, we're gonna take over, and just
it's
that whole concept
in us.
Yeah, I think that really is just comes down to boardom, people just don't, they have too much.
Exercise is so important.
Yeah, no shit, he does not do it either. He doesn't know what it's like to fight. The only thing he knows how to fight for is a bagel. And I mean, I just think that
it's a little mean, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, do you think that the people in Africa are thinking about NWO?
No.
No, they're not. But the funny thing about that is they're the only ones that really should be thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are suffering because we are the New World Order that's stealing all their resources for our own gain.
Yeah.
And we really are killing them for our own gain. So they're getting the rough end of the stick. And then we have these little white kids in America that are like, oh my God, our life is being threatened. It's bitch, You have a fucking 3,000 square foot house and access to food whenever you want.
Yeah, brand new iPhone that you're tweeting on right now about it, and there's people literally fighting for their lives every day and living that.
I feel so oppressed. It's like, dude, you live in Berkeley, California, and you drink Starbucks every day.
Yeah.
How oppressed are you? Like, it's just crazy. And I mean, even in our own country, there's like, you know, the shit that's going on in Chicago. You know, that stuff is so bad. And then I hear people talk about how they're being mistreated, and I'm just thinking, you know, we need a little bit of humbling.
Yeah.
So, but I, you know, one of the things I wanted to talk about on this podcast was this alcohol study that just came out, you know?
Oh yeah.
So, I'm trying to remember who came up with the alcohol study. It was like some university, and they basically came out with they concluded through their research study that alcohol is unsafe at all drinking levels. There's no safe amount to drink of alcohol, and so there's about 2 billion people worldwide that drink alcohol, and in 2016 there was 3 million deaths due to alcohol, which is pretty significant. But I just
I would say before you finish,
what?
It sounds like I don't know what you're about to say, but more of a cultural problem than it is an actual like alcohol problem.
Well, this isn't just the United States. This is across all cultures. So
we drink when we're happy. We drink when we're sad. We party and drink, and yet like weed is illegal though. I'm just saying we overuse alcohol.
Right. Well, we're right now you're talking about it from a very American standpoint because there's lots of countries where weed is legal and alcohol. This is still taking those countries into consideration, you know? So this is just a whole human thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I agree with you. I think that we overdo alcohol. We do it when, you know, relatives die, and there's a lot of countries, like we weren't even on the list for the worst deaths. You know what I mean? The United States, the United States is actually fairly low in comparison to a lot of other countries. Surprisingly, Nordic countries were really high, which
is weird.
Which I found to be very strange.
Because they're supposed to be healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
So that being said, I just really want to say that study is fucking stupid.
And because why?
Well, I don't know.
Because it's saying that no amount is safe ever.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying, no matter what.
No matter what. And they're just basing it off the fact that it's not actually beneficial, I think. I don't think that it's like when you drink alcohol, you're not really benefiting from it. So the only thing that could happen was negative stuff because there's nothing.
A little bit of stress reduction.
Well, yeah. I mean, but
I mean, I don't even drink, but I do love really, like, dude, if we go to Boise, I probably don't. I'm not wanting to drink at the show because I don't like to drink and DJ. But if we go to Matador for lunch and I get a shot of that $17 tequila and I sip on it like wine. They don't have that
anymore, I don't think.
Oh no, that's
yeah.
right.
I think they stopped having it made for them.
That breaks my heart.
But I mean, the thing is like
not only is that not harmful, but it's fun.
Yeah, but the thing is like, where do you draw the line? I mean. You have to be able to do things that are unsafe.
Yeah.
Okay. Rock climbing, you could look at that as a statistic with climbing rocks. You know what I mean? Like, rock climbing has never benefited you in any way. The only thing that could happen is that you could fall to your death. But, you know, like, are you going to stop rock climbing? I mean, you are, but
I don't like heights.
Yeah, no. But
I've actually been considering it lately. I've had a friend. I had a friend at work that offered to take us.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, Eric would be down. I'm a pansy, but that's kind of why I want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just think that the only reason I'm talking about this is because I've seen it all over the place. And I mean, I don't really like alcohol. I don't enjoy drinking. It doesn't do anything for me. So I agree with the fact that it's not beneficial for people. But I mean, like, yeah, anything in excess is going to be bad. Smoke some fucking weed instead of drinking alcohol for longevity. Don't drink alcohol every night. I mean, these are all like basic things, you know?
Yeah.
But also don't eat donuts every night. Okay.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you have like, you can go even deeper. Like, not all weed is created equal. Like, sourcing it from a source where they don't spray, you know, harmful pesticides. Like, there's tons of things to look into. There's tons of alcohol that is processed a certain way that can, cause inflammation or autoimmune reactions or
and wine,
what have you.
Like things like wine have been a part of the culture for so long. I mean, wine has been for thousands of years. People have drank wine. Yeah,
and wine, if done the right way, actually does have benefits.
Yeah,
we don't really do it the right way in America, but that's besides the point.
Even if it didn't, though, I mean, I think it's so important just to like do things, limited with, fun intentions in mind, and not, you don't want to get obsessed with drinking alcohol. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't do anything for you. Like, to just become an alcoholic, that's stupid, and you could die from it, obviously. Or you could drive a car and kill someone or whatever, I mean, because they're lumping all of these deaths into it as alcohol-related deaths. So people that have died from drinking and driving, and people that have died from liver toxicity, people that have gotten cancer as a result. There's tons of things. But living your life worried about everything that's dangerous is fucking boring. And I just think that you should do everything in life mindfully, and you should do things that aren't good for you sometimes. It's just like, it's not.
Get it out of your system.
Yeah, get it out of your system. Go out every New Year's or something with your friends and get a little fucking wasted and have fun. You know what I mean? You're going to have a shitty next day. And
you're going to be like, oh, won't do that again for a year.
And then you can set your New Year's resolution to hit the gym. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that
never say never.
Yeah, I think that this medical study or research study or whatever, I think that this is just one more way where people can get riled up and choose a side and debate, and it's just an attractive title, because it is so prevalent in society. It's just an attractive title. And then there's going to be people that are alcoholics that got sober, that are like in AA or some shit, that are going to be able to stand on a rooftop and say, see, this is why you all need to stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah, when in reality, we should be free to explore and do whatever we want for ourselves, as long as we're not hurting other people, of course.
Yeah, I mean, and
why not?
If you can't drink a little bit of alcohol and toughen it out, and then
do what you want to do.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just I just found it to be a little silly. It's a silly. I don't like.
That's kind of like the stupid article. I think it was maybe like a year ago, saying that coconut oil is bad for you.
Oh yeah, I actually just, that Harvard research study that came out. That was a Harvard research study.
Is the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yeah,
well, I eat so much coconut oil.
It's also like the one that I just talked to that Dr. Khan guy about, which kind of brings us to our next topic. But there's this vegan doctor that's going to be on the Joe Rogan podcast September 29th. I'm really stoked about it because he's talking to my man Chris Kresser, who I just absolutely adore. No homo.
Why do you adore him? Tell him why.
Well, because his book changed my life. Like, reading his book literally made me take control of my sickness and take control of my food intake and really just live a good life. Like, I feel so good, and it is 100% solely his book.
Totally. Your stomach.
I would have never done this if it wasn't for Chris Kresser's book, and I was relatively aware of what I needed to do.
Yeah.
But he broke it down in a way that was so scientific and like
so easy to follow.
It's all backed by science. There's nothing. He never talks about something like this is how it is and this is why. It's always, this is the medical research that points to this, and there's 50 studies that points to it, or it's, there's been one study done that points to this, and hopefully we can get more studies that prove it, because one study isn't enough. It's just extremely scientific. It's not, so anyways, Chris Kresser is going to be debating this doctor named Dr. Khan. And so I follow Dr. Khan on Twitter, and I just read an article that he reposted, and it was like, why the keto diet is bad for everyone and nobody should do it. And it's like, okay, there's people out there with epilepsy that have literally cured their epilepsy with a keto diet because of what it does to the brain and what carbohydrates do to the brain. It literally fixes that.
Parkinson's.
Yeah, there's other diseases as well, but this is just the one that I pointed out to Dr. Khan. I said to him, like, so if this is bad for everybody, what about people with epilepsy? And he responded, well, those are really small cases. And I'm like, okay, but that's not everybody, you know? So now you're using this blanket statement saying that something is bad for everyone. And that's just not true, because there's a select few people that can benefit from this, just like there's a select few people that can benefit from a vegan diet. There's that new tick. I don't know if you've heard about this.
I'm sorry.
No, not Lyme disease, but there's a new disease that's being transferred through ticks where people can't eat meat because of it. So if you eat meat, you'll get extremely sick. It's an autoimmune thing. It'll attack your body. So cause your immune system to attack itself. So that is obviously a vegan diet is necessary for those people. I just want to put this caveat out there that I don't know shit about this disease with the ticks. I just read something about it the other day. I don't know. I'm just saying that if this disease really is you can't eat meat, then the vegan diet is the solution for that. You know what I mean? Or vegetarian. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about like humans and how long we've been here and how different we've been eating in different cultures, it just makes sense that there's going to be different diets for different people.
Exactly.
And we're going to thrive. I mean, we eat a little differently, you and I. And we eat much differently, actually.
Yeah. And there's also people that have allergic reactions to things. There's people that, that's the thing with diet is everybody wants there to be like a one thing fixes it for everybody.
Everybody wants, someone to tell them what to eat is what they want.
Well, that too. Yeah, that too. And
there's a lazy side of it as well.
They want the cure pill. You know what I mean? And that's what a diet is the cure pill. It's like, I'm going to do this because it makes me feel like I'm totally optimized and stuff. And this is what happens with a lot of vegans is that they were eating a standard Western diet before, McDonald's twice a day, whatever. And then they see a fucking movie about the injustices in the animal world and they go vegan. And then all of a sudden they start eating local organic produce.
That was us, dude.
And I know, and that's what I'm basing that off of is this is our history. It
happens all the time.
And then all of a sudden you're eating a plant-based diet and you're no longer eating a shitty American diet, which is just really horrible diet. I mean, eating meat if it's from McDonald's is not the same as eating meat if it's from a grass-fed farm. So that being said, it's like these people go from eating a standard Western diet to vegan and they feel fucking invincible.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, no shit. You just stopped eating everything that's bad for you and started eating some things that are good for you. You know what I mean? And not everything that is good for you, but some things that are good for you. Eating just a plant-based diet is really easy to feel good on if you're eating just a plant-based diet and you're no longer eating Burger King and McDonald's.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about Chris Kresser too. He says it's not really about what you're eating, it's about what you're not eating. So if you cut all that shit out that is harming you, that's processed, that's filled with, things that are like chemically up your body, you're going to feel good no matter what.
Yeah. I know.
Focusing on real whole food.
Yeah. And the thing with medical studies is like, you can't just read one. Okay. Because you need to look at where the medical study is being funded, like who it's being funded by. If it's being funded by Pfizer drug company and it's about, the efficacy of a drug, like you pretty much know that they have ulterior motives and it's really their control group might not be as good. You know what I mean? Like they're going to if a vegan organization is funding a research study into, how vegan diet can change someone and they just take 12 Americans that were eating McDonald's every day and put them on a vegan diet and then all of a sudden their cholesterol goes down and all these things, like that is going to be a very limited control group. You're not basing it off of anything realistic. It's completely it's not a good sourced study. So yes, it might be a medical research study that was done and published in a medical research journal, but that doesn't mean that it's real. That doesn't mean that it's valid. And you have to really look at these research studies. Like it's so important to acknowledge the fact that, the research studies that you're looking at they're not a biased control group. They're, if it's trying to look at maybe something that could be beneficial for cancer, for example, like you have to look at other things other than whatever they're introducing to it. So if they're saying, okay, well, we're just going to take away bread and see if that makes the cancer less likely to survive. But then they're also drinking soda every day. Like, that's not a real good control group, because you're not doing a realistic thing. You know, it's not like there's
If
other
you're not
things.
isolating one thing.
Right. So
yeah.
You know, if you're listening to this and you are scientifically minded, and I mean, most people, I think, unfortunately, just see the titles of articles and they don't even click into them. And so they read something like what I just said, like, leading cardiovascular doctor says keto is bad for everybody. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, I don't know anything about this cardiovascular doctor. And I don't know anything about them being the leading cardiovascular doctor. Like, what makes them that? You know, and second of all, it's like, if this leading cardiovascular doctor says that, like, are they basing it solely on the cardiovascular system? Because maybe it's bad for that, but it could be a lot better for other things. And if they're just basing it solely off of your cardio, which obviously your cardiovascular system is extremely important.
Of course.
And if they're basing it off something like that, it's something that you should look into and see what you come up with. But if it's something where it's like, you know,
and I feel like with the keto community, that is a concern. Like, they talk about how to, you know, not have heart problems,
mitigate those things.
Like, say you have epilepsy, like, there are precautions you take in order to not have those, like, cholesterol issues on a ketogenic diet.
Right.
It's not like they're blind to that, saying, well, that there are some people who are like, keto is the way and the only way, but those are just as bad as, you know, other fat diets people. So
I just, you know, I think it's really important with medical studies to just look at it was like, this is a poor example, but when I remember when I was looking into the blood type diet, which for me worked really well because it just made me eat paleo.
When you were really sick.
And so that being said, with the blood type diet, when you look at the blood type diet, and there's, you know, it used to be like, saying, you know, there was like no evidence disproving it for a long time, and then this college study came out saying that the blood type diet was really bad, and this is why. And they had a research study, and it consisted of like 50 college students that were checked in with every day, and they ate for 30 days on their specific blood type diet.
That's not long enough for anything.
I was gonna say, first of all, it's 30 days. Second of all, it's college students. Third of all, you're not doing any blood testing. You're just asking them things.
That's a huge problem.
You know, it's not a control group. That's not a control group. It's college kids getting paid $50 a week to try something. You know what I mean? Like, they're not in a lab. They're not being monitored. They're just, you know, they're probably eating McDonald's. Yeah, dude, that's all I ate today was steak and eggs. You know what I mean? And so it's important that when you look at the research studies, you find out who they're funded from. In this particular case, when I looked into it, it was actually funded by a guy that had his own diet that he had created that was based on genetics, which I think is a cool diet. You know what I mean? I'm not against his diet, but I think that it was like he was clearly had ulterior motives. He went on to start his own company that was a competing company to the blood type diet.
So weird.
So it was like his whole research study that was like proving that this is no longer, you know, good for people, and his whole research study was based on, like, he could really dictate that this thing had negative results. And I'm not saying the blood type diet is positive. And I think that, you know, with anything, you should do your own research and figure out what works for you and all that shit. I mean, I'm just putting that caveat out there. But it's like, when you look into research studies, always figure out who's funding it, how many people they had a part of it, how controlled was the study, what was, you know, what results were they trying to figure out. What did they introduce with it? If it was, you know, trying to figure out red meat and cholesterol levels, were they eating like red meat that was grass fed and local, or were they eating McDonald's version of red meat, which is, you know, high in fucking vegetable oil and all this bullshit? So it's just really, really crucial that you look at all that shit.
There's a lot of bullshit out there.
Well, I mean, there's so many studies that are coming out right now that I've read that I'm just this doesn't, for some reason, it's just the last couple of weeks I've noticed there's been a lot of research studies that have come out that are just like really just, it's like just catchy titles and bullshit, you know?
Like clickbait.
Yeah, like did you see the one that said like people with low carb diets have a shorter lifespan?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've seen. I mean, like, there's just conflicting.
Well, yeah, this one
for certain people, it totally depends. That's stupid to say that.
Yeah, this one was based on a 30-year study, and it was literally based on them asking, so what did you eat 30 years ago? And like, you know what I mean? It was just, it was like, how do you remember what you ate 30 years ago? You know? Oh yeah, I think I ate mostly just meat and vegetables. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like the whole thing was a joke.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I just, glad that we got that out there because I really wanted to talk about that. But
yeah.
So hopefully this vegan versus Cresser thing.
I'm so excited. I bet this Dr. Khan, is that his name? I bet he's really nice. Because I don't think Joe Rogan would have him on there with Chris Kresser if he wasn't like a reasonable person. I think it's going to be good though. Because Chris Kresser is amazing. He's not mean. He's not.
No, it's just scientific.
Yeah, no,
and he used to be a vegan.
And he used to be vegan.
Yeah,
and he's going to talk to this Dr. Khan guy, and I think it's just going to be such a cool conversation. Yeah. And I think every, like, vegan or not, you should listen to this. Yeah. Because it's going to be good.
Yeah,
and be open to eat both sides.
Right. I think that it's going to be really cool, but it's kind of weird. Like, this dude keeps on posting these videos of him, like, hitting the punching bag and stuff, like getting ready to go on the Joe Rogan experience in battle with Chris Kresser, and like,
really?
Yeah, and he like keeps on tagging them in all these weird videos and shit like that.
That's weird.
It is really weird. I'm just like, dude, stop. Yeah. Like if it were me that was going on there to discuss this with them, all I would do is keep my fucking mouth shut and business as usual until I got on there. You know what I mean? I just think...
Yeah, that's a little douchey. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if I was Joe Rogan, I'd be like, maybe I shouldn't have this guy on there. Or I need to install metal detectors and frisk him before he gets in here because he sounds a little nutty, but I don't know. Maybe
he's just probably trying to hype it up.
He probably is.
Maybe he's just fucking excited.
I couldn't blame him. You know, I'd love to go on there and talk about stuff I'm interested in with people like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not... it's not surprising.
I'm just so excited. I hope it's just a really healthy debate.
Yeah, me too. I think it will be.
I think so too.
I'm
just knowing Chris Kresser and Joe Rogan too.
Like, yeah, I thought it was so cool. He retweeted me.
He did. Yeah, Chris Kresser retweeted. We tweeted.
We tweeted. Yeah. I mean, I'm not real big on the Twitter game, but if you guys would like to follow me, it's at Mind Melt Podcast, and I'm always looking for new followers since I have like 2.
You just started. We just got our Twitter going.
I know, it's just
like a week ago.
It's kind of funny.
And I think you just posted today, right?
I posted the podcast one other time, but yeah, so it's new, and I kind of like Twitter though. It's kind of cool. Like I like
it more than Facebook. I just never use it.
Yeah,
I'm never on it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm on Facebook all the fucking time though. What is with that?
You should just delete Facebook and start doing Twitter.
Yeah, you think that'd be better?
I do. I think Facebook is going down.
It is. It feels like it's going down. Yeah. I don't enjoy myself on it.
I mean, I'm so glad I deleted it.
Yet I'm addicted to going on it. It's so weird. It's like the weirdest thing.
Well, and here's what I think about Facebook. Go ahead.
Well, when I get a lot of interaction though when I post about podcasts and music and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
Maybe I'll slowly just switch over.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I just think that here, like what I think about Facebook is that it's it's kind of like it's like, you know, like the ex-girlfriend that won't let it go. Like, you know, she just is still trying to call you and text you.
Girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and she's still trying to remind you of the good times that you had, but you're just over it, you know, like, and I think everybody has that ex-girlfriend that's on there right now. Like, I feel like everybody on there feels that way. They're just,
I agree.
Yeah. They're like milking, they're milking it. They're like, they're going over there and fucking her, you know, just because they can, but they're over it.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Everyone does like kind of talk shit about Facebook while they're on it. It's weird.
I know.
I'm seeing way more posts now, like, gonna delete this, gonna do it.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like,
you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it.
No, when I didn't have Facebook for, I think it was like 3 months. It was awesome.
I think 3 months might be a stretch, but
no, it was okay. It was at least 2 though.
Okay,
I know it was 2 months.
I'll give you that.
I know it was 2 months.
So I haven't had it since April.
Nice.
And before that I had it for like 4 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And it feels good. Like,
I love Instagram.
Yeah, I do too. I like that's the thing. I think social media is really important, but I think it's important to have a healthy social media. And there's nothing to me that's healthy about Facebook because everybody just puffs their goddamn chests out and talks shit to each other. And it was like, for me, when I was on there, when I was on there, I was always trying to talk about science, and I would always get pushback on science. And I'm like, dude, this is science. Like,
the talking is important.
Talking is important. Stop getting offended. Stop trying to fight me on whatever this is. Like, and so that's why I deleted it. I was tired of like posting my opinion about something or a scientific fact and then just having all these people take it like personally. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like, come on. Would you really talk to me like this if it was in person? But I would talk to you like this if I was in person. You know what I mean? Like, saying like fuck you and just getting all like ridiculous about something stupid, like I guarantee you wouldn't do that in front of me, but like I would still tell you about this really cool article talking about whatever. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, that's what happens when people's beliefs are challenged. They get all, take it personal.
Well, and I think part of the problem with social media is that it enables you to surround yourself with a bunch of people that think the same bullshit that you do. And so you're so used to everybody just agreeing with you that when you see someone post something that doesn't like go with your opinion, it's like they're attacking you. They're coming into your little cult and yelling. And it's not, that's why I don't think it's healthy.
It has nothing to do with you.
But with Instagram, it's pictures.
Yeah.
And people just saying, had a fun time traveling.
It's so much more positive.
Yeah, everybody's positive. And
obviously there's going to be, like girl hate or whatever kind of hate in the comments. But for the most part, everyone I follow is really cool.
Yeah, it was
and if they're not, I just unfollow them and boom, that's it.
Yeah, I said on Joe Rogan posted something about Osho on Instagram, and I commented on it like, oh yeah, you should check out this book by him. And then it was like I had this dude go on there and comment, and he's like, just so you know, Osho hasn't ever written a book.
And
well, because it's all him transcribed, And I was like, okay, that's cool. Thanks for your. I just said thanks for your input. Like, I didn't know what else to say to that. It's like, but that's the weird thing that happens with social media is like I feel like people want to like outsmart each other or something.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Well, he probably doesn't like Osho.
That guy?
Yeah.
Or he just wanted to like sound
a lot of people
cool.
don't like Osho.
Oh yeah, I know. That's because they're looking at him and not what he said. You know what I mean? And that's
and
like,
if you do that, like, I mean,
yeah, dude, like,
you might as well feel that way, but you can't look at everyone like that. Like,
if you looked at me like that, like
if
you based it, if I said a lot of good things, and I'm sure I do, there's probably things that I say that people enjoy hearing, and then you looked at my history and based like the things I say off of the shit that I've done in the past.
Why
like,
do we
we
don't
God,
do that with
dude.
our friends and our family? Why do we do that with like public figures?
I have no idea. It's like, oh, he cheated on his ex-wife, and it's like, yeah, but so did you.
So did you. Yeah, like we just hate on people who are famous because of what they do. It's like the weirdest thing. Who fucking cares?
Like Clinton got a blowjob in the office, and it's like, yeah, but Obama dropped nukes on, or not nukes, but bombs on kids. Like, I don't know. It's, it is really interesting. You should just realize that everybody's flawed, and if Hitler said something that was really good, I'm still gonna be like, that was a good statement.
That's a good point.
Like that was really well said, Hitler. I don't agree with anything else you're saying, but that was a good one.
But you know what? If you agreed with that on a public forum, people would assume that you are backing Hitler and everything he does.
I know. It's same with Trump.
Humans are just weird, dude.
It happened with Trump several times where like I would be like, I really like what Trump said there. And then people are like, what? And it's like, well, no, I don't like Trump. Like,
or
I don't.
The 99.99% of the things he does.
Like I didn't vote for him. I wouldn't vote for him. I hope he doesn't run for another term.
God, no.
Yeah, he just said that, like children should drink water every day. So, I mean, I didn't really say that. He drinks Diet Coke. But you know what I mean? Like, if
he does, doesn't he? That's so weird to me.
What, Diet Coke?
Doesn't he drink like 3 a day or something?
3? I think that's understating it. I'm pretty sure it's 12. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, my dad used to do that.
Maybe that's why he's so weird in the head. So jittery and scattered and doesn't know what he's saying all the time.
Yeah,
Could
I don't
be,
know.
right?
It's either that or I think like
12 Cokes a day.
Dude, the guy's like 75. At 75, I'm sure I'll be a little all over the place too. He just shouldn't be president. He shouldn't be president. He's too old.
That's not normal.
What?
To have brain malfunction at that. I mean, come on.
Dude, I mean, the guy has always been like that. He's always been.
No, that's true too. I'm just saying it is perfectly possible to be healthy at that age. That's all I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at Bernie Sanders. I mean, a lot of the stuff he says, I don't agree with everything he says, once again, just so everybody knows. But he's
pretty on it.
But he is like, I mean, mentally he's there. I don't agree with like 60% of the shit he says, to be honest with you. But regardless of that, like I really like he is very quick and what's Peter Schiff, that dude, I think he's older, and I mean when I listen to him I'm like, God damn, dude.
Yeah, he's too quick for me.
I mean he's so on it, it's crazy. I mean that guy's a fucking genius. But
I love Bernie Sanders. Can't believe you say you don't like him.
No, I don't.
Why?
Just because like I don't really like a lot of the financial, like, dude.
Yeah, but he's like actually offering some type of solution.
I don't really like some of the solutions that he's offering. Like, I don't like, just because there's only 4 people that are running for president doesn't mean that I need to like one of them. You know what I mean? And
I agree.
So like with Bernie Sanders, like personally, I don't like a lot of his financial stuff that he talks about. It freaks me out. I think that I just don't think that the solution to the problem is taking money from some people and giving it to others. That's not a good solution in my opinion.
Yeah. He cares. I love him.
I understand that he cares, but that to me isn't caring. Like, it's kind of like, you know that saying, like, you lead a horse to water, and teach it to drink, or
you can't make it drink.
Fuck, not that one.
Teach
a man
how to
give
fish.
Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him to fish, he eats for a life. Like, that's kind of what I think. I think that there's a lot of people that need help, and I think that we should have programs in place to help them. But I also think that we need to teach people how to be financially responsible for themselves, like save for retirement, not tax people for retirement. Like, we need to, in our schools, have education on how to build a retirement account instead of saying, oh, we're just going to take money out of your account, we're going to hold on to it, and then at the end of your life we'll give it back to you.
So weird.
But I mean, that's the kind of shit that Bernie Sanders is all about. Is that, you know, oh, we'll just handle it with taxes, and it's like, I don't want the government handling shit with my money. You know what I mean? Like, because they're so inefficient. You know what I mean? They would literally, like, if they were gonna take $100 a week out of your paycheck, which is way less than what I pay for Social Security. If they're gonna take $100 a week out of your paycheck for Social Security, like, do you really think that they're going to take that and spend it well?
No, definitely not.
We already know they're using it for the fucking wars and quote unquote borrowing it for the military. Yeah. That's stealing. And I just don't think that that's the solution. I think that it's always education. Education is always the first answer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's always, you know what I mean, teaching people how to be financially responsible for themselves, not saying we're going to take care of you guys and giving us the nipple, because that's what it is. They're making us more and more dependent by a lot of Bernie Sanders policies. It's making us more dependent upon the military, or not the military, but the government for survival. And I just
getting them more involved.
Yeah, I don't want them more involved. I don't want them more involved with college. I want them less involved.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like with the healthcare system. I personally, I know so many people are going to disagree with me on this, but I think, like, with the healthcare system, I think that it should be a free market. I don't think that insurances should be involved. I think that...
Well, okay, so we argued about this because I was like, free healthcare should be a right.
Right.
And you're like, well, I don't think there should be healthcare at all. And...
not healthcare. I don't think there should be insurance.
Insurance, I'm sorry. But when you explained it to me, it actually made a lot of sense. Why would people be upset about it if they understood what you were saying? Because it does make a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, because people look at healthcare as a God-given right.
Yeah, but if you're still able to receive, medical needs for a way more fair price because there is no insurance, you could maybe explain to people what you mean by that.
Basically, how I think healthcare should be handled is, I think that it should be, I think that there could be insurance companies involved, but I don't think that they should. I don't think it should be the way it is now.
like mandatory and
right. Well, the problem with the healthcare system that we have now is, like, for example, when I went to the hospital a couple months ago, it was like they asked me, "Do you have healthcare insurance?" No, I don't. Okay, well, then you need to pay this much money today, which is $200. And then I said, okay, I'll pay that today. How much is this going to cost? And they said, we don't know. And I'm like, well, what are you guys are drawing my blood. Do you not know how much it costs to do lab work? No, we don't know. And it's like, why don't you know? Well, because we just bill you afterwards. And I'm like, well, then how do I know what I want to spend? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? And then normally, because of insurance, what happens is these hospitals will go and maybe like normal lab draws will cost $150, but the hospital will charge $400 because they know that they can bill insurance for that and insurance is going to pay it. So my opinion is that I think that everything should be insurance-less and you can shop around for prices. And if you shop around for prices and you know that, down the street, if you wanted like blood work done and you wanted your, I don't know, an x-ray of your heart, you know that they're going to be the least expensive place. Maybe the doctors aren't quite as good as the place up the street, but that is just a very simple thing that anybody can do. So paying less money is okay. But then that, like the guy up the street is the best fucking,
it's kind of like
cardiac surgeon.
The vet world, the animal care world. That's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
I mean, that is how it is. There is insurance, but it's so rare. I never dealt with insurance when I was working there. And I mean, like, you knew the prices. Yeah. Like, you could opt out of stuff. Yeah. Like, that's the scary part about going to the ER. You're walking out of there sometimes with thousands of dollars that you owe.
I mean, I just did.
Especially
the last
if you
2
don't
months
have
have
insurance.
Totally hit us. We have $5,000 worth of medical bills.
And the thing is you did sign up for insurance, and they're shady as fuck.
Yeah.
They're so shady.
But also, I mean, and here's the bigger thing is that I think that it would encourage people to take more responsibility for their health because they know that they have to pay it themselves. And they know that, like if you are responsible for your health and you don't have insurance, then you're going to say, like, you're going to go to the doctor. They're going to tell you, oh, your blood pressure's high. And then you're going to say, well, what do I need to do to get my blood pressure high? Oh, you can take these statins or whatever. And then, you get on medication and that's $200 a month. And then you might start thinking about, okay, I'm paying $200 a month for statins when I could be paying for a gym membership and a better diet. And then
or maybe a health coach to help you through that.
Yeah, another thing. I mean, so it really opens up the market, and it gives, in my opinion, it gives more availability to better jobs out there. I think that it would create a lot more jobs. There'd probably be more health coaches out there because right now it seems like with the way that the insurance is right now, which is still really shitty, by the way, with the way that the health insurance is right now, it just makes it so people don't look at what they're doing. They don't look at their bills. They literally just forward it to the insurance company and pay their copay. And it makes it so when you go to the hospital, they're just like, oh, we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden you have a $20,000 medical bill and they're just going to bill it to insurance. When, I mean, realistically, like you could have gone in there and done 3 of those things, and that might have cut off 10 hours of the doctor's time, which would have given him more time with another patient that needed it more than you did for your fever. Like there's just so many things, in my opinion, that come from that. So in my opinion, I don't like dude, could you imagine if the government became in charge of the healthcare system? Yeah. Like think about going to the DMV and that's going to be your hospital.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not trying to say that thing like, well, Canada has free healthcare and nobody gets seen. It's not like that. It's just that I'm in my head, I'm envisioning them taking some sort of healthcare tax out of my paycheck every month, and then knowing that they're just giving it to these hospitals, and these hospitals are charging $600 for a fucking Advil pill, and then we're just going to get higher and higher taxes.
Yeah, it doesn't actually fix anything.
Right, and we're just going to get higher and higher taxes because these hospitals are going to take advantage of the government like every company does. I mean, every company in the world, when they have government contracts, fucks the government.
Yeah.
That's why it costs the government, like when I used to do contracts with the appliance store for them, it was like we would charge them retail prices on appliances, you know what I mean? And get the money. And the government is always just spending money on dumb shit, and it could be budgeted way better. And so when I think about that with the healthcare system, it scares the shit out of me, because I just don't think, I think for one, it's going to put us in worse of a position that we are right now financially, because we're going to be spending more money than what's coming in from taxes.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And then we're going to be taxed higher. And then it's going to make the people like myself who don't want to pay taxes and don't want to go to the doctor's office suffer. You know what I mean? It's going to be a mandatory tax put on everybody. And then there's people out there that they don't go to the doctor unless they absolutely need to twice a year.
Yeah.
And then there's people like my mother, you know, who goes to the doctor quite often. And I mean, I'm just saying, like, so for people like that, like they go to the doctor all the time. So they reap the rewards, wherein people like myself that would only go twice a year, they, you know what I mean? Like they really suffer.
Yeah.
So it just, to me, it's just, you know, that's kind of the problem with the idea of socialism. I think that I'm not saying that Bernie Sanders is a socialist, but I think that a lot of his ideals come from that kind of socialist, you know, ideology. And I don't look at it like it's bad. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not afraid of socialism. I just don't think it's a good way to run the government.
You think there's better ways.
Yeah, I just think less government is always better.
Yeah.
And that's what this country was founded on. And that's why in the beginning, this was a prosperous country that people wanted to be a part of. I mean, this was like prosperity land. You know, people knew that they could come here and work towards success. And it was because the government was not involved in jack shit back then. It was like limited government, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's an unpopular idea, but I think that if people really thought about it, it might become a popular idea. I would say it's more
of like a C option. Like, I've never really heard that option.
Well, yeah, that's kind of...
So I don't think it's an unpopular idea. I think if you explain it to people, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, I don't know what would be best, but that sounds more, like, logical to me.
Yeah, it does to me, too. And just like with everything else, you know, there's kinks that would need to be worked out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's not going to work in every situation. Like if, you know, someone is skydiving and falls on their fucking neck and breaks it and they end up in the hospital, like, you know, we have to have securities in place for things like that.
Like emergencies.
Yeah, emergency situations, because there's like that, you know, that you could run up a hospital bill to $20,000 or $50,000 really quick. And that paying out that kind of stuff out of pocket is just too much.
Yeah.
But there could be like, you know, everything but emergency situations are covered by the individual, and just emergency situations would be covered by insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would love that.
Only emergencies.
That's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. Like, I just went to the hospital for a kidney infection that the ER misdiagnosed me.
Yeah.
And then I had to go to like a different like a family practice finally, but I haven't even gone like my free yearly. I don't even know if it's free because I don't even know how it works. But this is like my first insurance experience, and it's been a mess. It's been a freaking mess this whole time. And I'm like, why can't I just pay you?
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. I'm like, I just want to pay you for some blood work because that's all I want, and just to know if I'm good.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
And I'm scared to go back because I know it's gonna be like a deal.
Yeah.
Not scared, but it's just like annoying. I don't like dealing with that kind of shit.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
But
so, well,
and I think there's a lot of flaws with the way doctors. I think it's like an all around flaw, like our culture. Like we see medication on TV and we're like, oh, maybe I have that disease.
Yeah.
And we go to the doctor and like, it's literally been known that if a patient goes to a doctor and they leave without a prescription, they're not even satisfied. Right. Like they want a prescription. So it's our fault too.
Yeah.
And the doctors,
I know it's our fault.
And the doctors know this, and they know if they don't prescribe something, their patient isn't going to be happy. And what do they spend with their patients? 7 minutes per patient?
On average, yeah.
And they go over what? Like how they're feeling at that time. Like they don't ask about their diet, they don't ask about their lifestyle, their stress levels. Like an all around healthy person has like many different, you know, areas that they're working on to be like happy and successful and healthy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's not just a prescription.
Depression is the crazy one that they diagnose. That one is scary how much that shit gets diagnosed.
Yeah, or even ADD, or I mean, like how many kids in high school were on freaking Adderall? Like all of them.
Yeah.
Like you could go to a doctor and be like, oh, I'm just a mess all the time, and they were like, do you lose your keys all the time? And you're like, yes, I do, and then you get prescribed Adderall. Like that happens.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's just gets me riled up. I don't know.
Me too, baby. It's sad, but we're not going to fix it all overnight. We just got to keep on educating people, which is why this podcast is cool and others like it are cool.
Yeah.
So there was another thing I wanted to talk about too, and that's just Sierra's clothing stuff that she's got going on.
Yeah.
She just got some shirts out there, so we talked about
dope.
it. Yeah, we talked about it in the past. Find them on Instagram at Midnight Smokers Club. The
Bugs
shit's
Bunny's
tight.
all high. It's such cool artwork. Like
I call it the Buds Bunny.
I love that.
They're
just
awesome.
awesome. They don't like it?
No, I don't know if they call it that.
Buds Bunny.
Yeah, I just thought I sent Angela that. It was like,
We're
Bugs
gonna buy
Bunny.
some shirts. I want to rock it to our show. Actually,
let's do that.
Let's do
yeah,
it.
Let's do
I
it.
want to wear it when we perform.
Yeah, so
I think that'd be dope.
But yeah, so I guess that concludes it for today.
Cool.
But thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on Instagram at Mindmelt Podcast, on Twitter at Mindmelt Podcast. Give us a review on iTunes. Give us a review on Stitcher. You know, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for listening. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. All right, peace.